What's up, everybody? Welcome to a late Friday stream. How are you? It's good to see you. It's good to be seen by you. I, of course, am the one and only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live, loud, and clear on a Friday night with a serious vocal fry. I don't know what that's about, but I hope you guys are doing okay. Hey, Advanced Fantasy Games, Graph Paper Architect. Everybody's got three names tonight: the Dungeon Delver, Advanced Fantasy Games, Graph Paper Architect, Lee Harvey Oswald. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's not do that. I hope you guys are doing good tonight. Let me ask you a favor. If you're stopping in, if you're wondering why is this guy streaming at 10:30 on a Friday night, doesn't he have anything better to do? And the answer is I'm 56. I can't even believe it that I say that. I'm 56 and I'm a hobby nerd. So no, I don't have anything better to do on a Friday night. But anyway, hello, had a massive vowel movement. Hello, Rune Word Gaming. Thank you. I'm glad you like the intro. I quite like it too. I liked it better when it was Summer Mountains, but here we are. No use crying over spilled milk. Anyway, so yeah. I did some editing. I kind of chopped and channeled it and lengthened the frame a little bit, dropped the suspension, and we got something a little different, something a little bit longer, with some classical sounds to it there. I could finish all those unpainted figurines. We all know that's not going to happen, but anyway. So yeah, it's just kind of a hangout Friday, but and again, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, tell all your friends about it, get them looking at the show. That would be pretty awesome. We're still running up that hill, trying to hit 10,000 subs, because we know what happens then. It triggers, it's the red line or the green line. It pushes me over to the point where I'm going to do something probably financially unsound, and I'm going to have an in real life gaming convention right here in Florida. I'll get vendors, I'll do events, that sort of thing, and I'll come to hate this hobby even more than I already do. No, I'm just kidding. But no, when I hit 10,000 subs, guys, here on YouTube, we're going to celebrate. We're going to have this little in real life gaming con, and we'll make it work. We'll figure out how to do it. So I hope you guys are interested in doing something like that. But anyway, yeah, Greg was a lot of fun. We had Greg Gillespie on last night, son of the great jazz musician Dizzy Gillespie. No, he's not. He's not. That's not what Greg is at all. He designed Dragon Slayer, which I forgot to ask him if it's Dragon Slayer or if it's Dragon's Lair, because they could be two different things. But anyway, so thank you, Graph Paper. But anyway, yeah, we had a lot of fun talking to Greg last night. We have a guest next week, somebody that I have had on the show one time before, and I love her to pieces. Yeah, he's not Runeward. It is Laura M. Daniel, actress of stage and screen, big and small. Laura M. Daniel will be here, and I'm super excited about that. Now, I do have a lot of guests on the show. I try to get one on every week or every couple of weeks as I can. There's stretches when folks are just too busy, and I get that completely. But with regard to Laura, Laura's just a real sweet person that I met over on X. She just maintains a business account on there now, or I would say, hey, everybody go follow Madame DM at Twitter, but she's gone now. But we have stayed in touch, and I mean, she doesn't draw or paint or sculpt or write TTRPGs. She's just a fun person, and I like talking to cool people. I've talked to plenty of cool people before here on the program, or programmy, if you're English. I think that's how you people say it. Program me. But yeah, Laura will be here next week. I'm really looking forward to that. We have a racked and stacked run between now and next week. Tomorrow, the Nerd Council of Doom is in session, and we will be the we will be the folks to listen to for all your pop culture needs, and we have got a heck of a show for you guys tomorrow. So subscribe to Nerd Council of Doom right here on YouTube. Give us a look, give us a sub, and we will tell you what you should think about pop culture things, because that's what we do. So that's happening. And then Sunday, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going to stream. Monday, we've got a mail call Monday, because I have been sitting on something really, really cool. And I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. I actually got this yesterday or day before yesterday. I got this, and I'm super duper excited about it. So hopefully you guys will be too. So I wanted to show it off the day I got it on Wednesday. I'm like, I could make mail call Wednesday, but no, it's mail call Monday. So I'm looking forward to that. I am looking forward to that. And I hope you guys are as well. So we'll do a mail call unboxing on Monday. And what else is going on? Oh, yeah. So I wanted to talk to you about Crom. And I know you guys might be sick and tired of hearing about Crom. But Crom, of course, is the character record organization manager software for Windows 8, 8.1, 10, and 11 that is designed to make first edition AD&D character creation and management easy. Don, good to see you. How the heck are you, my brother? Good to see you out there in TV land, everybody. One of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. That's Don McVitie. But anyway, yeah. So Jorge Uribe, speaking of nice people. So anyway, yes. Funny thing happened with Crom yesterday, and I wanted to talk to you guys about Crom and AD&D, because I genuinely want to reach it. You are my people, and I want to reach out to you guys and get your opinion on stuff. And that is this. So I hit a bit of a snag with Crom. I sent out the update, and of course I didn't come back in and do what I should have done, which was test a few things. Because anytime you move code around, you change blocks of code, you're like, okay, let me do this. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it in. Bada bing, bada boom. If you overwrite something could break, but it could break very subtly. And so what broke with Crom yesterday that I then sent out to people, and I'm going to be and I sent out the fix tonight. But what broke with Crom was two things. It allowed, well, first of all, humans were locked down on dual classing. Humans could only dual class into Thief. And that shouldn't be. That should have allowed them to dual class into anything they wanted. But it was also allowing half elves to dual class in anything they wanted, and that's not a thing. If you're a half elf, the only thing, hey, Lord Stug there, just out there gifting out memberships. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that. That was really, really cool of you. Thank you. And now I can see all y'all's names out there. It showed up. 1000 Folly, Schwartz D, Silly Lung, Yurdum, H. Burdick, Personal, Woolok, Antonym, Nidge, -- -- 1, Random Rich 62, Lucas Garzwicki, and that is really awesome. So thank you very much for dropping some cash. Thank you so much, Lord Stug. I really appreciate that. So I sent out the fix that fixed those. But one other thing that I fixed was, and I don't know how I broke this, but I did. And this is where the question comes in. My test harness for bards in Crom is always just to create a character and give them all 18s, because I can never remember exactly what the cadence is. But if I give everyone 18, or if I give every stat an 18 and then select a neutral, good, human, or half elf, I know I can create a bard with that. So I kind of I sat back and I said, well, wait a second. Why is the fighter only picking up 2 hit points on the high constitution? Why is that so? That should I should be seeing, what I should have been seeing was 4 hit points per hit die. So no big deal. I got it fixed. And I think it fixed it too good for multi-classed demi-humans. Let me tell you what. Right now, as Crom sits, if you go in and you have a multi-classed character and you have a con of 18, let's say you're a fighter magic user, fighter thief, fighter magic user, thief, fighter cleric, some variation of fighter. A con of 18 and a multi-class character, and one of the classes is fighter. What Crom is currently doing with the Constitution bonus is giving the Constitution bonus of 2 to the non-fighter hit dice, and giving the Constitution bonus of 4 to the fighter hit dice. So a total of 6 additional hit points. So say you've got a fighter magic user and you get, it rolls a d4, 2 plus 2, that's 4, and it rolls a d10 and gets 8 plus 4 is 12. That 16 divided by 2 classes means that character gets 8 hit points right there. And I was like, no, Bill, you've introduced another bug. And then I stopped. And I thought about it for a minute. Guys, I don't think that's wrong. I don't think that's wrong. And I want to open up the player's handbook. Is this just one of the things? See, Don says that's how they always did it. I think that's correct. I think you get the con bonus. So if you were triple classed, fighter, magic user, thief, you get 4 additional hit points on your fighter hit die, 2 additional hit points on your magic user die, and 2 additional hit points. So you'd get 8 extra hit points. If all of your classes leveled at the same time, you'd get 8 extra hit points. Now, that would all still get divided by 3 but I think that's I actually think that's by design. I never dug into it that much. I just assumed that the extra con bonus, just like, okay, you get +4 and you just apply that, good for you. But I don't think that's the case. And so I want to look tonight at the player's handbook and see what it is that I've wrought here. So here we go. We're gonna Oh, and by the way, the reason we're not, just in case guys didn't see it, the reason we're not playing Blade Runner tonight is one of the players couldn't make it. Stephanie couldn't make it. And really, the Blade Runner game is kind of this little introductory scenario is sort of at its peak. It's sort of at its peak. So we're going to have to I didn't want to say basically like, oh, okay, well, this character goes back to the car and waits in the middle of it, you know. So, all right, so let's take a look at this. First, let's look at Constitution and see what it has to say. Let's see. I could actually use the tabs in the PDF. Character abilities. So let's carefully read Constitution. There's not a lot there, but we're going to read it all. And we'll read it together. And this way you guys can call me out. See, I think I see the answer already. I think I see the response there already. Thank you, Adobe, for putting this stupid fucking toolbar right here. All right. Okay, here we go. And you know what? I'm gonna, let's see. No, that doesn't make it any bigger. That just a debigulator. Ah. Oh, come on. There we go. All right. Yes, Doug, we are playing the Blade Runner Free League RPG. Hit point adjustment indicates the subtraction from or addition to. Now, note the language here. Each hit die for a character. And that's it. It just talks about system shock survival and resurrection survival. That's it. That's all it says. Each hit die for a character. Hey, American Brad Canada, good to see you. RuneWorld Gaming, yes, it would be the average of the con between characters. We haven't gotten to that yet. So yeah, in your case where we had an exceptional constitution that gave 4 to a fighter class, 2 to say a cleric class, and 2 to say a magic user class, for a total of 8 added on to whatever their individual die rolls were. Let's say it's 5 for the fighter, 2 for the magic user, and 1 for the cleric. That's 8. 8 and 8 is 16. We would then divide that total by 3, and we get 16 divided by 3 is 5.3333 out. So we would just drop the fraction, and that would be 5 hit points. It's not that unbalancing, to be completely honest with you. So, yeah, it doesn't really say anything here about that on the regarding constitution table. So before I give you guys scoliosis, let's zip down to let's see, I think it's under character classes, the multi-class character. Let's take a look at the multi-class character. And again, we'll zoom in. We're not going to worry about the specifics of multi-classing as far as what types of character. But let's take a look at this. The game assumes that only non or semi-human characters can be multi-class, and only certain class combinations are possible depending on the race of the character. Although these are listed in the sections dealing with each race of character, multi-class character possibilities are also shown below in order to aid in selection of your character's class or multi-class. Cleric combinations with fighter types may use edged weapons. Good to know. So there's the combinations. Now, the only place here that it mentions hit points is exemplar for the fighter magic user. Hit points are good on average. 5.5 plus 2.5 plus 8 equals, or 5.5 plus 2.5 equals 8, divided by 2, 4 hit points per double class level. Elves and half elves may be fighters / magic users. And then again, under fighter magic user thief, it gives us another exemplar equation here, but does not bring into consideration a higher constitution. Guys, I think it just applies universally. And I mean, the language. Now, I'm a perma DM. I'm not going out fishing for rules lawyering. But I kind of think it's pretty it's pretty cut and dried. Remdog, yes, I did get your email. What was your email about? Remind me again. I'm literally having a senior moment right now. You emailed me about what? I'm so sorry. Let's see. Page 19 under notes regarding class table. Okay. Roll the hit die appropriate to each class, total the sum, divide by the total of the character's classes, 2 or 3, dropping fractions. The number derived is okay, and I don't see that it doesn't say, or rather, I don't see that it says you don't add the con bonus to each hit die. And I mean, in the case of a fighter magic user thief on average having 4 hit points, I mean, you know, if you have enough of a con bonus, that it's 1 to each of those hit dice. So let's take that hypothetical, that's 1 extra hit point. Your average fighter, magic user, thief, ooh, now they got 5 hit points. Oh, right. Remdog want a copy of Crom. I'm glad I didn't say. Thank you. We had a Crom giveaway the other night. It was very nice. So let's see here. Let me, you know what I'll do right now. We'll do it live. I will send you that right now, Remdog. And you can start, you can fiddle around with it right now on while you listen to us. So let's go to sent. Let's do this. And we're going to copy link address. And we're going to come over here. And who are you? Here, let me find you. There you are. Apply and all right, Remdog, it's on its way, my friend. It is winging its way to you right now. Joe Facetious, we are not playing tonight. We are just hanging out. You do add it to each point number 2. Did I just look past that? Was all this freak out about nothing? Yeah, I mean, I guess you could read that each way, but yeah. Yeah, no. I definitely think it's both. Bob, I did get your emails. Yes, I did get your emails. No Blade Runner game tonight, though. So yeah, that had me like, oh my gosh, have I been doing this wrong all this time? And no, it turns out I didn't. So Crom works as it should. I always worry that I've done something just incredibly dumb in there. And okay, I want to be very careful how I phrase this because I don't want you guys to misunderstand. But so many people reach out to me. Like in the earliest days of the development of Crom, I'd post up to people. I'd be like, "Hey, look at this! I think I got it working." And they come back and say, "This doesn't. Why haven't you?" And then I had to go through and like double check stuff, assumptions I had made as a player for years that were not in the player's handbook. I had read them in Dragon, or it was like, "This is how we did it," yada yada yada. And I was just like, man, okay, well, that was clearly wrong. And I had to go through and I had to make these fixes over and over again. So when I get messages from people sometime and they're like, well, how come this? That's not supposed to work that way. I'm like, oh crap. And I pump the brakes and I start tearing into code. And then I'm like, wait a minute. And I grab the player's handbook and I go to the thing that they're talking about. I'm like, and then I'll email them back and I'm like, that's supposed to do it. That's like, yeah, exactly. No, you don't get allowed to use swords after a certain level at magic user, or you can't multi-class druids. That's a feature, not a bug. So yeah, it's been interesting. It's made me the years of development have made me learn. Yeah, I guess technically 2 years is years. Um, Changed my mind on what the hell was all that about on my gravestone. Yeah, you and me both. You and me both, Wave. You and me both. But anyway, no, I just wanted to catch you guys up with what was going on with Crom development. The next major developments that come with Crom, um, the next major developments that are coming with Crom, the easier of the two prospects is going to be, um, and actually one of them's a little glitch. It's not bad, but it does bother me, and that is how I implemented adding spells. You can attempt to add a spell. I'm glad you asked that, Amanda Reza. I'm going to tell you in just a second. Hey, Gonzalo, good to see you. I'm going to star your question and I'm going to come back to it, Amanda Reza. But what was it? Right. Because the way you can add spells to your character's spell book right now is just fine. You just go in, you select, and you pick a spell, and it adds a spell to your character's spell book. No problem. The thing about it is, as you play the game, you may have a lower level character, like a 5th level magic user, that gets a scroll that's got a 7th level spell on it, and they want to try and scribe that spell. They can make the attempt, and then do it or not, but there's not a mechanism. Currently, Crom doesn't allow you to select a higher level spell than you can cast to add to your spell book. And I think I should put that in there. Would you guys like to see that? Would you guys like to have it where you could have a 1st level magic user who could attempt to copy a 5th level spell or whatever, and then if they succeed, bam, it goes in your character sheet in Crom? So the other thing, I'm going to add, Lord Stug says yes. Another feature that I'm going to add to Crom real soon now is the ability to add anything you want to your inventory. To go into your inventory and add an item, just like, I don't know, what are those stupid lacrosse things that those horrid elf-eared kleptomaniac halflings that are the living and breathing incarnation of that's what my character would do from Dragonlance, whatever the hell they're called. They've got this lacrosse type dealie that throws rocks. If you want to add one of those, so add that feature. Now, adding its weight, that's up to you. That's going to be up to you, because I'm not going to build a system whereby I have every possible item in 1st edition AD&D built into the program, and it's weights waiting for you to add it. Work that out with your DM. If Kinder inventory items, we also. But anyway, yeah. So I may well add the ability to just drop stuff in your inventory. All right, so I want to answer this question. Actually, before I answer this question, I want to, yeah, no kidding. I see that there, Wave. Teehee this. But I've been contemplating this. This is what I've been thinking about. Don't delay a purchase of Crom based on, oh, but Bill's going to do this and I'll have it next week. No. I may add a feature to Crom that lets you auto generate a character. Literally from the main menu, you just hit A and it spits out a character. Statted, equipment, level, like A, what level? 10. Be very careful. Be very careful, Wave. I saw that. Pulls out the javelin and aims at the king. Oh, no. This pulls out the wand of magic missiles and aims it at the Kinder. Now, if that is a bit too much of an ask, what I may do is have a guided automated character creation. You hit A, it asks race, level, desired class. If that's too onerous. But if and only if I can build that as a dictionary that sits outside the program, reads the key press from the main menu, and then executes without going back through firing off connections for everything. I just want to read it. It does its own thing instead of going back through and, like I said, putting a whole bunch of connections and everything. It literally just emulates key presses is what I'm thinking. And then at the end, you get a character. It says character name. Maybe I'll have that asked right away. Character name. And you get what you, or you don't enter it and you just get what you get. It's just random character, like, random character. And then it generates a random number at the end of random character. So you won't get like the same, like, random character 2943. I mean, if I have it set to 10,000 under the randomizations, odds are you're probably not going to get the same character name and overwrite one. But then you can generate characters even faster. You may not get what you want, but so I may do that. I may do that. Now, so the question, the question did arise though. What is Crom? Crom is the character record organization manager. Crom is a wonderful little program that I have written. And what Crom does is Crom lets you generate any book legal first edition advanced Dungeons and Dragons character. And it is 100% rules compliant. So let me demonstrate it. This is the latest and greatest version, bug free, which is so nice to have. Did I mention it's for 32 and 64 bit? Because if I didn't, guess what? It's for 32 and 64 bit. You know, people ask me, they're like, well, you ever going to do like a big, intense manual for this? No, I'm not. And the reason is quite simply because, let's see, where'd it go? Type should be application. And now Windows is going to complain. More info, run anyway. Let me close the old version here. And let's properties. Nice little 28. Dragons have the dragon meat. Vikings have the all thing. Elves get a conclave. I think Kender should get a chipper. What do ooh, that's a good question. What would clerics have? I mean, I think conclave is should be for clerics. Ents have the Entmoot, a cloister. That's more of like an actual place. Yeah, clerics are conclaves. All right. So again, this is for our friend Amanarasa here. I hope I'm saying that right, by the way. And here we go. Here's your user interface. I'm going to go ahead and remove your question there. Create a character, load a character, or quit. Very simple. We haven't created any characters, so we can't load any characters. Let's create a character. And we have your 4 methods of character creation for first edition AD&D, and a 5th method. If you want to roll 3d6 down the line, if you've got some pre-generated stats, guess what? You can port your character, like your favorite pen and paper character you've had for years. You can use this to port them into Crom. So here we go. Method 1, 2, 3, or 4. I am crazy about method 3. So we're going to do method 3. And what kind of stats do we get? Wow, we get really good stats. Look at those. So like Teddy from Bob's Burgers. Wow. Good Lord, look at those. Look at those stats, guys. Strength 16, intelligence 16, wisdom 17, constitution or dexterity 16, constitution 15, charisma 14. Wow. Those are great stats. All right. We're going to use those. We're going to go with an elf. Okay, so wave. I gotta pause this. Hello, RPG Grandma. I gotta pause this for just a second. Um, yes, I'm sure for Elf. I'm not giving those stats to a dwarf. Um, oh, wave. Have excuse me. Have you seen the first Happy Gilmore movie? This is relevant. Was that charisma enough to be a paladin? No, no, not by far. If he had had a 17 charisma, yeah, that would have been paladin territory. All right. So there we go. So I want the full stack. Let's do fighter, magic user, thief. So level for fighter. Not a Sandler fan. No, that's fine. That's fine. I know. I'm gonna say this, dude. I'm gonna say this. Uncut Gems, and Reign Over Me, and Punch Drunk Love, possibly anger management. Show the guy's got range. Does it roll percentile or 18 on strength? Yes, it will do percentile strength. It absolutely does percentile strength. Would the chipper be powered by water or steam? I think we could do a water wheel chipper shredder. I will show you, Amanarasa, I will show you after this character the percentile strength. So there we go. So let's go ahead and do all of the weapons proficiencies right now. Let's do some melee weapons. And we are going to go with a bastard sword. Gotta love that. A long sword, a club, and a dagger. So we have 3 proficiencies. We're going to go back. We're going to go to ranged. We're going to get a light crossbow and a sling. We're going to go back. We have 1 more proficiency. We're going to go to sticks. And we're going to go with a quarterstaff. And now we bot back in here. Okay, so the reason I asked you about that wave of mutilation, the reason I asked you about that, there's a sportscaster who has a role in Happy Gilmore when he's watching him play golf. He's an actual sportscaster. He was for CBS for many years. Vern Lundquist, not a fan of the guy, not a fan at all. They had him in his final years. He called, I shouldn't say his final years. It's like almost 20 years. He called college football. And on incredible plays, when he would get excited and yell, "Wow," it sounded exactly like Teddy from Bob's Burgers. It floored me. My daughter, who cares nothing at all about college football, I called her and I ran the replay and I said, listen to this. And I played it. And was, wow. And she was like, oh my God, yeah, that's Teddy. All right. So here we go. We have 310 gold pieces. Wow. All right. So we're a fighter, magic user, thief. Now, unfortunately, we want to do our thiefly stuff. So when we go to armor, we're just going to get leather armor. I would be over the moon right now because I could buy like banded mail and a shield and so on. But no, we're going to do leather armor. And we're going to get a small shield. Now, somebody asked me why helmets aren't in available armor. I could not get it to work to add a helmet in the armor shop. You can still buy them. You can still equip them. I could not get it to have that in the armor shop and it not screw up armor class. Putting on a helmet doesn't change your armor class. It does, but that's an edge case. I don't think anybody wants to be edged. Whew. Anyway, all right. So we've got a shield and we got armor. So let's be done here. Now let's get our weapons. A guild. It's a guild, a thieves guild is what I would call that, Wave. All right, so let's go to melee. We know we got a bastard sword, and we got a long sword, and we got a dagger, and we got a club. Now let's go to ranged. We're going to take a sling bullets. We're going to take a light crossbow. And 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 11 crossbow bolts. And finally, we're going to go to sticks. Lady in the morning. Oh, wrong sticks. Sorry. And we're going to get a quarterstaff. Buck and a quarterstaff. Okay, we have a lot of cash to shop with. But we're done with weapons. So, you know what? Let's pause here because I so rarely have a chance to do this. Let's go to livestock. We have 200 gold pieces. We're going to get a light warhorse. That's right, a light warhorse. I so rarely get to buy a warhorse with a character in this. But now we've got to get tack and harness. So we're going to do 8. We're not going to be able to afford even leather barding, so we don't need to war with it that much. But we're going to get a bit and bridle, harness, saddle, large saddle bags, and a saddle blanket. Now we're going to come back out. Now we're going to get the miscellaneous stuff. We're going to get thieves tools right now. Oh, 29. We're going to get a quiver for bolts. We're going to get a backpack. We're going to get, let's see, a couple flasks of oil. We're going to get a large pouch. We're going to get a small pouch. We're going to get 50 feet of rope. We're going to get a 10-foot pole. We're going to get, let's see. We're going to get some iron spikes. We're going to get a small helm. Going to get a water skin. Going to be done. We're going to buy some provisions. We're going to get some horse meal. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to get a week's of iron rations. And a week's of standard rations. We're going to get a pint of good wine because what's life if we can't enjoy ourselves? And that's it. We're done. We're done. All right. So let's hit D for done shopping. We're done shopping. Are you sure? Yes. Check for psionics. We're an elf, so no. I like the neutral good. But if you look, we've got that higher dex there. Our dex got bumped up. Constitution got bumped down, so we did lose our extra hit point. Stretch Pulaski, tallest pole I ever met, JP. Enter a name for your character. Oh, I don't know. How about Sophia? I like that. Calculated XP. Press enter. We save her to HTML. Sophia, yes. Because now the work starts. We're going to load this character. And here we are in the workspace for Sophia. How many hit points did we end up with? 3. A great stonking 3. See, this is why I don't think adding the hit die to every class, or the hit die bonus to every class, is a bad thing. All right, but you'll also notice Sophia's carrying 157 pounds of gear and moving at a rate of 30 feet around. Even with a 16 strength, she is laden. But this new feature we have, the equipment submenu, we can change that. So let's go E for equipment. We can come through. The first thing we're going to do is Sophia's not carrying 35 pounds of grain. So we're going to store that. We're going to exit. And now we see that she's moving 60 feet around. She's shed quite a bit. Crom. So let's go back to equipment. Anything we don't want to have on her person? No. All of this is stuff that definitely I still haven't fixed the float error for weight of bolts and arrows. Damn it. Okay, that's to fix. I may leave it just for the hell of it. I don't know. But the rest of this stuff, yeah. But we can also store our coins. 15 coins is £1.50 pounds. We don't have to. So there we go. We're a magic user. Well, we can go to our Tome of Spells and add a spell for first level. 2. Okay. Add spell 1. And we see that we know sleep. That's good. Read magic, message, hold portal, and friends. Friend. So we can add spells here if we get our hands on a scroll. So we're going to exit out. We're going to go back to worksheet view. We're going to save. I'm going to save it to HTML. And there we go, guys. That's it. I hope that answers your questions. Amana Rasa. Now, this doesn't just let you do all the things that I said, because guess what? You can add XP. You can add XP. How many experience? Yeah, let's add some experience points. Let's add 9,000 XP. Thief 3,300 XP exceeds 2/3 level, capping at 2,500. Magic user meets or exceeds threshold for level 2. Fighter meets or exceeds left threshold for level 2. Do you want to level these classes up now? Yes, we can. And look at that, guys. With that, we've gone up. How many more hit points did we get? Oh, we did real good on hit points. We went from 3 to 6. The stars were with us. And of course, we got to remember to save. But we can age this character if we want. Let's age this character. Let's hit Y. How many years pass? 100. Now look at the characteristics. Let's see if any of these change. So we have strength 16, intelligence 16, wisdom 17, dexterity 17, constitution 14, charisma 13. What happens when we age 100 years? Wisdom has gone up, intelligence has remained the same, dexterity has remained the same, constitution and charisma have. Sophia is now mature. Look at that. So we can save it right there. Oh, and we leveled. I think we get a weapon proficiency for at least a class. Okay, so we don't have our weapons proficiencies yet. So we'll just go ahead. But yeah, if we leveled again, we would get more weapons proficiencies. Rucked with a 75-pound pack other than regular, it wouldn't want more than that. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But then a 17 strength, that's pretty badass. I mean, hit probability +1, damage adjustment +1, you know? Get an extra 50 pounds, open doors on a 1-3, on a 1 through 3, bend bars, lift gates on a 13. So Amanarasa, if you're interested in purchasing a copy of Crom, you can shoot me an email, bsylvie@gmail.com, and I will hook you up. It's $25. You get all future updates and bug fixes. All that stuff I talked about adding, the spell there, higher level spells than you can already cast. Potentially adding an automated character builder, adding in a inventory updates. Any updates like that come for free. That comes for free, just in perpetuity. So it's not like I'm going to whip around and say, "Oh, hey, brand new version." Now, if I went and I designed a brand new program and called it like Crom 2.0, and it was all Windows and widgets and mouse clicks and GUI driven and stuff like that, possibly, I would definitely offer it at a discount to people who had already bought the Crom, this version of Crom. But any changes to this program, any future updates to this program, they're included in your purchase price. Whether it's an update that comes a day after I send it out, or whether 6 months go by and somebody's like, "Bill, you got staff swing at 3,000 pounds." But only when you create a dwarven fighter assassin and equip him with a Joe staff, then it just shows up at 3,000 pounds. Like, oh crap, I got to fix that, But I'm going to tell you, this is just what, if you don't believe me, you can go ask Scooter for Mike. You can go ask Dundermoose. You can ask anyone who's using it. But I have had people say to me, this has made it simple enough that people are just able to sit down and jump in. Because, like you say, they don't have to think about it. They just sit down, tune in, turn on, and start playing right from the get-go. So I mean that's it. That's it for the sales pitch right there. This runs on just the last little bit. Just it runs on Windows 8, 8.1, 10, and 11, 32 or 64 bit. It runs on Mac OS through Wine. It runs on Linux through Wine. So you don't have to delete the old version, Engine Joe. You absolutely don't. You don't have to delete it. You can just stick this in another directory. I mean, if you want to copy it into the same directory you've got and just start double clicking on this icon instead of the other one, but you don't have to delete the old version at all. Might be a little less confusing for you if you delete it, but I mean, if you go back and you're like, I actually like the way it did this. No, stick it in your directory, Gonzalo. Yeah, but I mean, if you go back and you're like, I prefer the way that this did it, then you can keep using that version. I don't think there's any versions floating around out there that don't have like capital P problems that you're going to be like, no, I preferred it when it didn't allow, when it forced humans to only dual class into thief and let elves dual class into whatever they wanted to. I preferred that, Bill. That's what I want. I mean, if you come back and that's your thing, you can, you can do what you want. But yeah, I mean, as long as you've got the download link, and again, if you've bought it, you've got download links to all the old downloads. So you can hop back to an older revision. So anyway, I just wanted to show that off. And again, you can reach out to me, bsylvie@gmail.com if you want to pick it up. So let me ask you guys something, because I don't have a good gauge. Metrics are a funny thing when it comes to YouTube, and I don't like, they are what they are. But I tried something a little bit. Did I already send the link to the updated version? This very version that I showed tonight, I have sent out to most people. Here's a problem. About a little less than half of people who bought Crom gave me no way to contact them outside of PayPal, because their PayPal accounts, and I get it, I understand, don't publicly show their email addresses. So I got to rely on the message system built into PayPal. So if you didn't get an email from me for the new version of Crom, don't right now just be like, no, I didn't get one. Go back and check your email. If you didn't get an email address or an email from me recently, then go back and check through your emails. What you should be on now is Crom 1.6K6, not 1.6C2. You're still on 1.5? Oh, Lord, Jorge. That's horrible. That's a terribly out of date version. You should be on 1.6K6 is what you should be on. And I will send you a link again. But again, this goes back to I've got maybe 15 or 20 people, maybe more, who bought Crom, and I can only get to them. And unfortunately, the messaging system in PayPal is not good. It's not good. And some people have it completely turned off so they can't get messages at all. So I have no way to contact people who bought Crom. So if you bought Crom, you've been using the original since I got it to you. Were there more updates aside from the one you just gave me? Yes. Yes, I have been trying to get out updates to everyone. People who emailed me and said, yeah, I hey, I'm interested in Crom, or they had their email addresses on their PayPals, then I can send them the link. Yes, it's 1.6K6 is the latest version of Crom you should be using. Doe. I'm not even sure 1.5i was ever for sale. 1.5i may be an internal version only. Because here's the thing, when I was coding Crom, I got so sidetracked off of what I was going to talk about with show production. When I was coding this thing, there'd be stuff that's like, oh, okay, it's barely working. I'm going to change. I'm going to save this as 1.26 AF. And then I'm going to change this to see if this will work. And then like that one would fail, but I would save it and keep it anyway. So I have a directory full of dozens and dozens of versions of this, literally going back to me searching through Stack Exchange, seeing how I can do 4 die 6 drop lowest arrange to taste. The little like 13 kilobyte version of Crom before I was like, okay, how about a class? When I started screwing up and freely mixing integers and strings for data, because yeah, wow, Lord Stug, you were way out of sync there. So drink in all the new features. Anyway, I'm unless you guys have any more questions about it, I'm not going to talk about Crom right now. So the again, the thing with metrics is it's all well and good, but I did worst tweaking impression. BD. Write the program, Buck. I've kind of changed how I'm doing the YouTube verticals, and I'm trying something that maybe is a little bit more engaging than here's trivia. I'm going to keep the trivia short videos. I just thought Let me put one out a day where I'm more talking, I'm sharing an opinion, a fact-based opinion, but an opinion nonetheless that you guys can engage with. Hence the YouTube shorts that the YouTube short that I did yesterday and the YouTube short I did today. Yesterday I talked about the quote unquote inclusivity of or diversity of fans of D&D. And then today I talked about the vibe, the gritty heavy. Do you guys know the boilerplate, right? You know, AD&D is Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin boilerplate that I do. I kind of did a YouTube short about that. A lot less cursing. But I kind of wanted to stretch out a little bit, to sort of broaden my horizons insofar as I can with, you know, what I do here in when I do the YouTube shorts. Because, you know, I can come over here and just, did you know that Gary Gygax really liked to have fish at Culver's? You know, I can do that, but I'm a little bit I'm not out of those. I'm not out of the those trivia ones, but I mean, I look some days and it's like, okay, this video has been up for 9 hours and it's got like 300 views, 400 views, which is YouTube showing it to fewer people. But at the same time, the people who see it are not commenting on it. So I figure, why not engage? Why not engage with you guys for sure? The only thing that I don't like about the shorts is, so I've been using this camera over here, which you guys can't see. Hang on a second. I've been using that camera standing up and looking at it. Yesterday, I had the first script and I was holding it in my hand just off to the right, just a little bit. And I was looking like this, like I was not looking in the camera. It was like it is right now. Today, I taped it underneath the camera and it was a little bit better. You post a bunch of insulting diatribes on my shirt. Maybe they get blocked. I don't know. I don't do that. There's 1 or 2 times ever when I've gone through on shorts comments and been like, blink. But I did it to try and get traction back. Let me tell you guys something. There's 31 people watching right now. That is probably, I'm going to say it's 23 on YouTube and 8 on Twitter. I was close, 22 on YouTube and 9 on Twitter. 2 weeks ago, YouTube was showing my live streams to upwards of 300 people a night. And then it took that away from me. Now, I've said that I would do this if one person was watching. I would still do some kind of streaming for that one person. But I do want the channel to grow, and I want it to keep growing, and it's so it's been kind of trying to land on that moving target. It's an old DOS game, one of the first computer games that I can remember coming out of the USSR that wasn't Tetris, was called Perestroika. And it was a Frogger-like game, or like a Qbert meets Frogger kind of game. You were the worker, and these ever-shrinking discs on screen were the laws, because laws were changing in the USSR so fast, you had to stay ahead of them and not not fall through. So yeah, it's like that. Except you're the YouTuber and those are the algorithms, you know. Um, yeah, Tetris is Russian. So yeah, yeah, JP, same thing, same thing. It's who YouTube decides to show it to. It's not who comes looking for you. It's who YouTube decides to show it to. And imagine you're trying to put together a TV show on cable access, and instead of just saying, yeah, you know, we'll just broadcast this. We'll just let you have as much bandwidth as we can give you. They're like, tonight we are pointing our antenna, our broadcast antenna, at a neighborhood with 10,000 people in it. Tomorrow night, we're pointing it out into a rural area with a population of about 10. I don't know if all those people have a TV. Imagine doing that night in and night out, and that's what I do. So I changed things up with YouTube Shorts to try and catch a little bit of that freshness back. Now, what I was saying about the camera situation is not being able to look straight ahead kind of weirds me out, and I don't have a teleprompter. I want a teleprompter. So yeah, I would really like to have a teleprompter to mount on the camera there, or even on the camera there. Because then I can look straight into the camera and it's like a little heads up display. What it is basically is, so there's a tray that sits, there's a whole affair that gets mounted to the camera. There's a tray that sits in it that a tablet sits on. Teleprompter used to be like a CRT, like literally a cathode ray tube mounted at 90 degrees right in front of the lens, and it would broadcast onto a plate glass that the camera could see through. You, the viewer, would never see what was scrolling up, but your news anchor could look straight into the camera and read the words off the teleprompter. Oh, what game are you live streaming tomorrow, Grandma? So yeah, I mean, you know, I actually have like a 7-inch monitor that I think has a mount on it. I suppose I could get I suppose I could get a some teleprompter software and run on it, but content suggesting you is always something totally unrelated to your niche. Be careful not to pull. Yeah, I'll be careful not to pull a Ron Burgundy. No fear. But you know, the one thing I do try and stay humble about what I do on YouTube, and I'll tell you why. I think of myself as like a microscopic YouTuber, and you know, when you look at people who have 7, 8 figures of subscribers, yes, they could lose my entire view. They could lose in viewers the number of people who have ever watched a video of mine ever in the years I've been on YouTube. That number of people could unsubscribe from their channel and they wouldn't even notice it. That would just be part of the daily churn for them. Yeah. Who was that? Who's saying hard to be humble? Was that Bobby Bear? Or was that Mac Davis? I can't remember. I don't think it was Meltilus, but anyway, I don't think so. You look me in the eye, Gonzalo, look me in the eye and tell me you think, I don't know, Cardicarus, Jack's Films, um Ryan George, that they could not shed 10,000 subs tomorrow and literally just be like, whatever, and keep on keeping on. Yeah, Mr. Beast wouldn't. But they're video games. Does not include Psionics video. Oh, well, first of all, thank you for the super, Lord Stug. It's not showing up over on StreamYard yet, so I can't put it up there, but I really appreciate the super quite a bit. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. But yeah, teleprompter would be awesome. Then I could just look straight ahead and do more more talky videos. But that, I mean, that's my cross to bear. But who was it was saying they have a small TV that they mount behind their thing. I actually, the monitor that I use for this camera is a little 7-inch HDMI monitor. It was really cheap too. I was surprised at how cheap it was. Let me see. Can I get this? Oh, of course, the cable's wrapped around something. But there it is. This is it. And it does have a 1/4-inch jack on the bottom. No, not small. You have a 40-inch TV. Yeah. But yeah, it's got a 1/4-inch mount on the back and a 1/4-inch mount on the front of it. This blows me away. This thing actually has a VESA mount. You can mount this on a VESA arm to swing it around. But if I was going to use this as a teleprompter, I would have the fonts blown right up, no fear. But I have to have this for that camera because when I use that camera on game nights to show Dwarven Forge off on the table, volunteer to start a private chat with me. Oh, thank you, Advanced Fantasy Games. I appreciate you too, man. I really do. See, his super showed up right away. Lord Stug made a super chat. There it is, finally. Okay. Yes, I will work on getting the Psionics video up. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so Yeah, I suppose I could just lay this on the tray and have it, but I don't know. First world problems, right? Our local police precinct got broken into. Yeah, it actually happened the other night. The robbers broke in and they stole all the toilet seats. The cops don't have a thing to go on. I said the cops don't have a thing to go on. It's really weird listening to streams from 2020. I do not like going back and listening to my uh I do not like going back and listening to or watching my old material when I do verticals from old interviews. Let me tell you something. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I am amazed. I am utterly amazed that anyone has ever agreed to come back to be on my show. I went back the other day to pull some stuff because I thought, well, I pulled so much stuff out of the Gary interview and the Darlene interview and Jim Ward, and I'm starting to get into, I've done a couple of stories out of. Personally, I think the Skip Williams story about about being there the night that TSR Hobbies was robbed is probably the best story. Uh, you need that cat. If I could figure out how to let you guys trigger it like once per video, somebody could like super to trigger that. Um, I would absolutely do that. But like you can super chat and make this trigger. I'll let comments about okay. Horrified, mortified. I am mortified. JP got rockets, but I was going back and I was like, oh, Steve Marsh. He's gonna have a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Steve Marsh. So I go in and I pull the Steve Marsh video, and I was horrified. I just trampled all over him, not like interrupting what he would say, but why is no one, it's like private messaging me, why are you people not saying shut up and let your guest talk, Bill? Honestly, I just ought to start telling people, hey, you want to come on my show and sit around while I run my mouth like I do every other night, but you're there? I felt awful. Now there have been guests I've had to carry, and maybe I'm being too harsh on myself. Maybe I'll go back and watch all the Steve Marsh one and just, I don't know, but I was just like, oh, that is so awful. So what happened to Skip Williams? What do you mean? What happened? No, I mean, Skip was a perfectly awesome guest. I loved having Skip here. Although I am going to tell you guys, and if you run off and if you run off and tell Skip this, I will deny it. I will delete this video, and then I will kick you off of my Discord, and I won't be your friend anymore. Okay. I want to preface this with I liked having Skip Williams on the show. Skip is a really good friend of Tracy Lesch's, and I think Skip is a nice person. Skip looks and sounds and acts exactly like Dwight from the US version of The Office. I'm sorry, it's true. It's true. Hang on. Skip was, I would, when I was interviewing him, I'd be talking to him and he'd say like I would say, oh yeah, I heard Gary like blah, 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 blah. And there'd be this pause. Dwight, fair enough, Bob. There'd be this pause. And I could swear his tone when he would pick up the answer, I really thought he was going to say false. You know what I mean? False. I don't think he's a bee farmer. So I ran into Skip. Skip probably hasn't the least fucking idea who I am. Okay. And that's okay. That's absolutely okay. I saw Skip at EggCon. And I asked him, I said, are you playing? Are you playing? You running something? And he looks at me and says, very Dwight-like, I'm dungeon mastering. I'm getting ready to DM the best version of the game, 3.5. Like, holy shit, dog. Like, did Jim just disassemble your car and put it in the building lobby? What? Oh my God. His words, Bob, his words, not my, at EggCon yet. No, it's not under an NDA. So this is what happened. This is what happened with that story. I did a vertical of it, Joe, not too long ago. And of course, Skip was on the show. Identity theft is no joke, Jim. Millions of families suffer every year. Put a stapler in jelly. Moved his desk into the men's room. Anyway, so it was just before Gen Con, and he didn't say what year it was, but he said Camaro and Frisbees were two words that he used in there. So he was finishing up getting ready, and he hears something in the in the store. I don't know. I know nothing about the dungeon hobby shop. I don't know if it had a basement, an upstairs, a back room. I don't know the arrangement. He's not out in the store. He hears noise. He comes out. There's guys. I think he said the loading dock. I think he said it was out on the loading dock. Guys are putting boxes of TSR merch into a car. And he's chit-chatting with these guys. He's just chit-chatting with them. Because he thinks they're going over to Gen Con and they're there to pick up merch. So as he's standing there talking to them, watching them load this stuff, and they're like super nervous, it occurs to him they're robbing the store. And he said they were stealing boxes of Frisbees and boxes of t-shirts. And every time they had to come in, now he seemed surprised by this, but I will tell you guys my opinion on this in just a second. He said, and they kept walking past my Elastilins and Gary's Elastilins in the display case, taking, these t-shirts and Frisbees. And I didn't think about this at the time, but I had to listen to that a lot to edit it down into a vertical. And I'm thinking to myself, Skip, I guarantee you a bunch of people who rolled up on the hobby shop in a Camaro to steal t-shirts and Frisbees did not give a shit about the collectability value of those Elastilins. Not in the least. You can have a rare AF Funko in your comic book store, and if you get robbed, they're taking Magic the Gathering and Pokemon cards. That's what they're taking. If they're not stealing money, unless you got that thing in a display case and, big sale tag on it. Elastilin, it was a company that made plastic action figures, little kind of rubberized plastic action figures from like, I don't know, the 40s probably until the 60s or 70s. But they were incredibly durable. If your dad or uncle or anybody like that had little plastic soldiers, like little 54 millimeter soldiers, or cowboys and Indians, or Vikings, or cavemen, or Huns, or whatever, there's a very good chance they were Elastilins. And yes, they were pre-painted. So Engine Joe, something you can do, believe it or not, there is no reason why you could not download the PDF, like a high quality PDF scan of a TSR catalog, and take that to a t-shirt shop. I have not played Spellfire FM. I did a vertical video about Spellfire. That was TSR's attempt to jump into Magic the Gathering, and it was initially pretty successful too. A lot of Greyhawk content in Spellfire, believe it or not. Granted, post Gygax Greyhawk content. But Jim advised Lorraine Williams to purchase this little struggling games company in Seattle called Wizards of the Coast, and she didn't, because, and her words were, "We don't make card games." Plus, she just didn't want to spend the money. But anyway, so yeah, what I would do is, you know what? Let me see if I can get this up here. Hang on a second. I will bring this up. Yeah, no doubt it was not Buck Rogers related. That probably factored into it a lot. All right, this guy's website is awesome. I get a lot of let me see, is it under miscellaneous? Here we go. So what I would do is I would go here, I grab a copy of Your Gateway to Adventure. Well, I would too, Engine Joe, but yeah, no, none exist, dude. And let's see. But if you look here, let me see if I can find it. See, I actually have a physical one of these. And even if this scan isn't the best thing in the world, because it's not, it's not the best scan in the world. What you could do is potentially take this to a t-shirt shop. I mean, that and the Dungeon Master's Guide. Hell yes. One of each, please. Excellent. Yeah, the 8081 Gateway catalogs are awesome. I actually do have one of the older catalogs. It came with my home set. I have the oh yeah, it is the 80 Gateway to Adventure. I have the 80 Gateway to Adventure, the 81 Gateway to Adventure. I have a single sheet that I don't see here. I need to reach out to Bro and tell him that I will gladly lay a scan of that single sheet, or it may even be a double sheet inlay that I can get to him that he does not have. Yeah, definitely put it on black for best results. Was Watsy going to put out Talislanta or Arcanum before buying TSR? I don't know. That's a good question. So these are all good points. Things to do when you buy a time machine. Take a portable defibrillator to Don. Yes, just rock up on his house and give this to his wife and walk her through how to use it. Buy out the blooms. That would be tough to do. I mean, the easiest way to do it would be to basically, if you can't save Don K's life, be on Gary's porch the day his wife showed up with 2000 1970s era dollar cash amount. And when she comes up and says, here's all this crap, I want the money my husband invested, just say, Gary, I've got this. Here you go. It's on me, dude. You lost your best friend. That's on me. And keep Kevin Bloom from being able to, or Brian Bloom from convincing his father to give him and Kevin the money to buy a bunch of shares in TSR. But that's what I would do. I would buy. I would just cover that right there and make sure that Gary didn't have to do that, and just leave it all in his hands. Now, I mean, would that stop Brian Bloom from one day eventually saying the same thing? Oh, just let me and my brother do this, and then Gary foolishly selling? No, I couldn't guarantee it would stop him. Unto Excess, how many Dragon DVD? No, I don't know what the sales on those were. And they weren't DVDs, they were just CD-ROMs. So on the one hand, I kind of wish it all been on a DVD. But at that time in the 1990s, DVD ROMs were, or DVD A DVD-ROM drive was an exceptionally rare piece of kit. I wasn't seeing those until 2003, 2004 in a desktop machine. So yeah, those are my missions. If I go back to 1970s Lake Geneva, if I can't save Don K's life, I can save TSR. If I can't save Don K's life, I can save TSR, and I can hand $2,000 to his wife and say, Gary, that's on me. You don't owe me a thing in the world. Then I would go to the Dungeon Hobby Shop and I would buy every wood grain set they had prepped to sell. Every single one. These are $10 a piece. Here's $500. Then I'd zap back to now and I'd fix some stuff that really, really need to fix. I wouldn't install a security door on the shop. That story about it getting broken into was hilarious. Oh, thank you, Advanced Fantasy Games. I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel like somebody once told me that like security. Somebody once told me that the Warhammer 40K universe is like, imagine you've got a library with incredible amounts of knowledge in it, and a fire burns down 90% of it. And so you painstakingly gather the ashes and the fragments and then try and preserve them as best you can, including the 90% of stuff that wasn't destroyed. Space King, yes. Space King. You're not canon. Brap. Yeah, the universe might have corrected for that, Engine Joe. But so you've collected all this stuff back up. And then there's another fire that destroys 90% of that. And the building falls over. So you've literally got like fragments of pages left. But you do your best. You collect all that up and preserve it as best you can. And then religious fanatics go to war in the ruins of your library over that stuff, destroying a little bit more of it every time they fight. That's the state of knowledge in the Warhammer 40K universe. You know, that's why you look at stuff like I think like they've got some artillery piece that has a range of like 10. It's like the primary Imperial Guard artillery piece that has a range of 10 kilometers. You know, it's outranged like 5 times over by an M109 Paladin. Well, I would teleport to the 40K universe with an M109. You would be burned alive. Literally, when you popped into existence, a sister of battle would step up with an immolator, burn you alive, and that vehicle would be destroyed as techno heresy. But the reason I'm saying this is that fragmentary nature is kind of the state of when a little bit of TSR, that's kind of what's left. The could have been, the should have been, the might have, all that stuff, and who knows about it and who knew what about it. It's kind of in that same state. And there's heretics that go to war over it all the time and leave less and less and less, or not heretics, but there's religious fanatics that go to war over it over and over and over again, and there's less and less and less and less left of it. Guys, Wizards of the Coast and TSR, but Wizards of the Coast did it too, threw out piles of original artwork. You think some of those sketches that you see in classic books, some of the cover paintings, guys, that stuff's gone. The originals are gone. They went in the TSR art department to be photographed, to be sent off as negatives and proofs to Random House, and then that stuff got warehoused. And then Wizards of the Coast, it's rotting at the bottom of a landfill somewhere near Lake Geneva. I talked about this in a short Proton Fire. They had a giant robot game. It was like giant robots in 40K. They had enough of it done that they were talking about rules and that sort of thing. It was called Proton Fire. 4 modules for it. And the kicker was any toys and miniatures you had would work with Proton Fire. You defined what the guns and stuff on your toys did. They weren't going to do a miniatures line like Battletech or 40K. Who knows what happened to it? Now's where I lose a bunch of subscribers and a bunch of people watching this, but I don't fucking like Frank Menzer, okay? TSR, when they emptied Gary's office out, they threw Gary's works into the trash. And Frank came by later that night and emptied the dumpster out and ended up with like the original Temple of Elemental Evil manuscript for decades. And he sold photocopies of it at Gen Con auction. He would auction them off. Bob Jester, thank you. Thank you so much. The shitbird militia. Who's the Philly fan out there? I'm just kidding you. 5 of you cannot leave now. But guys, they threw away so much stuff. Thank you, Joe Wave. Thank you. They threw away so much stuff. People talk about Gary's Castle Greyhawk. Guys, those Castle Greyhawk notes, some belong to this collector, some belong to that collector, some belong to the other collector. We're never going to see Gary's Castle Greyhawk. Never. I'm never going to get to see it. You're never going to get to see it. It's gone. That's a sad reality, man. It could have been in a works archive. They could have mined it. I mean, honestly, the smartest thing that's been done, and I don't know that I can see the DVD case from here, but tucked away somewhere over here, I have the Rob Kuntz, all of his stuff, all of his modules, all of his notes scanned, and they're on a DVD and also on a thumb drive. Paul Stormberg sent me that. I've got it around here somewhere, but it's like that's what should have been done with Gary's stuff. I remember there was a fierce argument between Rob and Gary on Dragon's Foot over just getting the stuff out there. And Gary was, take care, Lord Stug. Enjoy your copy of Crom. You're updated after months and months and months and months of using a janky old version copy of Crom. I don't know if Frazetta got to keep his own art. I know there's a lot of family stuff going on there too. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff out there, guys, that we'll never get to see. You know, we're huddled down in that library and we're trying to protect fragments of fragments. I mean, what we have in, and even if you've done like me and you've mined as in dug into some of the shadier corners of the internet, and you've gotten a scan of Lost Caverns of Sojkonth, and you've gotten a scan of crap, I blanked out, of Lost Tamacon and the Orange B3 and ST1 Up the Garden Path. I mean, we'll never see Stoink City of Thieves. We'll never see the Dungeons of Castle Greyhawk. I wish I could get Sarah Frazetta on the show. I really do, but I don't think she gives a shit what I have to say. So, you know, that's life. I got this big book. I'm going to do a deep dive on it one day. Have you guys seen that? I know I talked about it a lot about Christmas, but did you guys know did you know that I have a giant book of Frank Frazetta artwork? So, yeah, I mean, guys, I absolutely love it. Those of you who say, you know, that have I put legs on the books yet? Yeah, right. Thing's huge. But I don't. The Tome of Big Pictures, yes, Ori. I don't really have. If I never ask, the answer is always no. Yeah. I have reached out. I've said, hey, can I send you a private message? Or hey, I would love to have you on the show. I posted that to her on accident. Just nothing. I don't even think she follows me back. But no, I've swung for the fences. I asked Tony DiTerlezzi if he wanted to be on the show. Next Thursday, Laura Daniel, star of stage and screen. I asked Laura, and she eventually came on. Hey, Blip Zero Tag, you're it. I don't know what BillCon is out there in Alaska. That's awesome, Bob. Sarah Frazetta or Laura. So Blip Zero, are you does that stand for below zero? I have not asked Jane Seymour to be on the show. I probably should. But I asked I did ask Castle Rat to be on the show. Castle Rat said no. There's a few other people I'm going to ask. Yeah, Twitter DMs are awful. I was trying to dig up DMs tonight earlier to reach out to people about being on the show, about getting updates for Crom. Like, hey, did you ever? It's horrible. Like, if you've messaged me on Twitter, it's like there's times when people will DM me. I don't get any messages from them until days later, and they pop up on my phone. Or I don't get messages from them until days later and only on my PC. And I only know it's on my PC because I go in. I don't get a notification. I go in to DMs. I'm like, oh, look, I have a message from Tim Imholt that he sent me 3 days ago asking if I wanted to do a live show. Great. Awesome. Thank you very much. Very, very big help. Twitter. Thank you. So if you try and get a hold of me, guys, don't DM me on Twitter. Email me. That's not just for money there. The bsylvia@gmail.com is how you get a hold of me. Send me an email. Man, do I miss playing AD&D? Remember the yellow and green and blue and all the other was the first bag of dice and rules. That's correct, Engine Joe. We ran into each other over there. But I thought you were a show fan first, Joe. No, there's lots of people, and it's not just. I've gotten enough money yesterday and today. I can do this. I'm not a star fucker, guys. Okay, I'm not just like I only want to have really famous people on the show. That's not the case. I like having people on the show that I like to talk to. I mean, how many times have I just grabbed Don McVitie or Gonzalo and just dragged them in on the show? I've had Wheeling Dragon on as a special guest. I've had Doomsword on as a special guest a couple times. I miss that guy. I really do. Dooms is a great guy. I've got a gift for him. I got the guy a Christmas gift. Yeah, poor Julie. Such a tragedy with her. Boris Vallejo painting Julie Bell, painting Julie Strain, looking at a Frank Frazetta painting by Bob Ross. I mean, cancer ultimately did get Julie Strain, but she also suffered a fall, which triggered dementia. She was, at that point, her passing was a mercy to her. Alec Jones, super chat it, and you'll hear it. You know it. If I'm going to do that to my throat, I need cash. But yeah, no, there's a number of people I would like to have on the show, and there's a lot of you guys that I would like to have on the show at some point. Exactly. So what is one wish you could have to bring back from first edition AD&D to nowadays game? Just one thing from AD&D. I'm going to say differentiated experience tables. Differentiated experience tables. I do not like the fact that the experience chart is universal. I don't like it. It doesn't make a lick of damn sense. A guy studying to be a doctor and a guy studying to be a lawyer and a guy studying to be a computer scientist learn different things differently. Fortunately, that's very easy to port, at least for the base game. And once you start talking about the 80 gazillion classes that the game has now, when you get beyond, I don't know. I mean, maybe collapse all the magic using classes back into one and just have it magic user again. I don't like sorcerer, warlock, yada yada yada. Just also, you don't need Thaco. We have charts. People are like, oh yeah, first edition AD&D, haha, good memories, but I could never go back to Thaco. Don't need Thaco. You have charts. Thaco falls apart when you get into the realm of repeating 20s on 2XS. You have to gut and redesign the 2-hit numbers if you are using Thaco and not obeying repeating 20s. Wave, because it's better than the communist measurement system. That's why. That's why we measure things in licks. Licks, hogsheads, cubits. Butts, yes, butts. Well, I don't know. I think I've just about run out of things to say tonight, guys. Yes, it is an actual measurement. You are 100% correct. Um, I I've got a lot of thanks to give out tonight, guys. Thank you, Lord Stug. I know he left for gifting 10 memberships. Thank you, Lord Stug, for the super. Advanced Fantasy Games for the super. Bob for gifting the memberships, the 5 memberships, and wave Joe Facetious, for those of you who don't know, for the super. I really, really do appreciate it, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I will be back tomorrow at 3. Myself, Dungeon Minister, and Yang and Zhao. I will simulcast it off of the Delver's Dungeon, and we will have a whole lot of funyon. I don't know. But until then, guys, be good to each other. And yes, I will now finish the broadcast by making a funny joke about the actual existence of owl bears. And now I will play the owl bear song to conclude our broadcast day. Peace. Good night. Love you all.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around. Some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle way off course? Naked as a toad all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show, I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.